Thanks for staying with us. We're talking about the real estate market with some experts. Okay, here's what Home Builders Research said about the median price of a resale, which was $218,000 in June. That's a decrease of $7,000 or 3.2% from May, a decrease of about $22,000 or 9.2% from January of this year, a decline of $62,000 or 22% from a year ago, and the good news, an increase of nearly $53,000 or up 32% from 5 years ago. You think that's something that's lost on the average buyer, that this is really a great time to buy a home because prices are low but still up from what they were?
Yes, I think it's people don't know how to sift through those sorts of statistics. We need to speak to them in layman's terms of, what it was comparing to 5 years ago to today and what they can get. And it's, with the down payment assistance and the programs that are available to them, there are more options for them to be able to purchase right now before the inventory is swallowed up and the prices go back up again.
What can you do for the person who took out an equity loan at the height of the market, maybe bought, when the market was low, took out an equity loan at the height of the market, and now is upside down in their home, maybe has an adjustable loan that's going to reset? Are those people, they are really at the whim of what's happened in their neighborhood, the foreclosures that have dragged the prices down or the values down, aren't they? Can anything be done for them?
I will defer that to Mr. Delgado.
Copping out, okay?
Who's better at that?
There are different things that they can do, different options. One huge mistake that a lot of the clients make is that they do not stay in contact with their lender. And we have to understand that the lender is not in the business of taking that home away. They're very interested in the interest that they're going to make on the loan. So they want to do everything that they can. They have so many different options of trying to refinance, let's say, for lack of the other term there, of the loan, and try to keep the interest rate where it's at, where it's affordable for them. Now, we can't help all the clients because of stated income programs, or maybe they lied a little bit on their income. They're not really, they shouldn't be in that property. They could not afford that property. And those kind of people, it's really tough to say, but there's nothing that we can do for them, because if you can't afford the payment, why is the bank going to continue to have you in that home?
But if you're making the payments and you can't afford the payments at the current rate, but your loan is readjusting and you're not able to refinance because of the declining values in your area, what do you do then? The
banks are willing to sit down with the client, go through a pre-qualification process, and find out what can they do to keep you in that house.
Could a lot of this have been avoided by getting rid of these prepayment penalties that would have allowed some of these people to refinance and get out of the adjustable rate mortgages when the market was still good?
Yes and no. Yes and no. For those people that opted to use that prepayment penalty, it lowered their interest rate at that particular time. A prepayment penalty wasn't a fine or a punishment to those who got into those loans. It was explained to them why it was there and what it was doing to benefit them. It's never the product that's bad. It's always selling it to the wrong person and not educating them and telling them what it's for. And for some people that could have refinanced maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, and they were in a prepayment penalty, yeah, it did hurt them. Were we able to have a crystal ball and project what was going to happen in these years in the future? No, we weren't able to. So again, a lot of the education, a lot of finding out what am I going to do. So many different things happen in our lives that change our income, that change our credit. And I could say that even though they didn't have a prepayment penalty, maybe they lost some hours and they were going to be able to refinance anyways.
Okay. One thing that must be presenting a challenge to you is our designation as an area of declining value, which is requiring people to come up with even higher down payments. How are you dealing with that?
Well, we do have the down payment assistance programs and grants. There are also other funds that are available to families that have maybe a little bit of money saved up. It doesn't seem like a lot if maybe you have $2,000, $3,000 saved up, but we can triple that money through some of the federal grants that we have that are available. All of these little pieces add up. And right now the sellers, through another program that's called Nehemiah that works really well with FHA, sellers are willing to assist the buyer in a 3% down for their FHA and another 3% in their closing costs. So that's a total of 6%. Added with down payment assistance and WISH or IDEA funds, you're adding up to, you can get families up to maybe $75,000 in down payment assistance to help them. So that's considerable.
And sellers are still interested in and willing to do this, even though they're taking so much less for their houses now?
Well, most of the sellers right now are the banks. I would say 75% of it.
So the sellers, the banks, are actually cooperating and contributing to the down payments and the closing costs.
They need to get these houses off the books. We have over 20,000 houses in the inventory right now. We need to get that inventory down, so the banks are willing to take that, help the buyer out.
And we hear there's been a recent resurgence of willingness on the bank's part to get these short sales closed. Are you experiencing that as well?
Yes and no.
Were they holding tight at the prices before and dropping them now?
Well, I don't think so much that. I think that the short sale area of the banks is understaffed. They were not prepared for this sort of a surge to come on board. So everyone kind of went over to the foreclosures and started working on all of those because there's more of those. And we don't have as many people staffed at the short sale, so it's very difficult to get a hold of anyone. Some of these asset managers in the foreclosure world are handling 250 to 500 files at a time, one asset manager. So you can imagine how difficult it is to just get a hold of somebody.
Okay. Your organization also works with employers to help get employees into housing. We'll talk about that when we come back. Don't go away. More on the local real estate industry and how you can get into a home when we come back.